Then we'll end. I want to offer you all a free gift. Again, I was talking to CJ about this recently, a PDF, a new PDF that we have, and kind of some video mini series that I think could be beneficial, and want to provide you all with value just for showing up today. We'll talk about ways that you can continue to work and stay connected with me and MII Professional Speaking, and then we'll end with about a 15 to 20-minute Q&A. So if that sounds good to y'all, let's throw in the chat. I can't really see the chat here, but throw in the chat, let's roll. Throw in the chat, let's roll in the Zoom chat. I don't know if we're able to do that, but just want to make sure that we're here and ready to go. Let's roll. CJ's, Hamza's ready to roll. Jake's ready to roll. Okay, we're ready to go. So I can't really see. I don't know if y'all can see that. I can't really see the chat, but I'll try and monitor that as I try to keep y'all engaged here throughout the presentation. So why public speaking? So one piece that I did leave out, I mentioned that I do some work as a speaker agent. So I do have a day job still, and MII is kind of my side hustle right now as I'm trying to get some more revenue to the point where I can go all in on that. But I've been able to sort of marry my side hustle and my day job recently. So I work currently at a company called Advance Your Reach. You can see their logo down the bottom. And at Advance Your Reach, our founder is Pete Vargas. And Pete Vargas is a very well-known name within the speaking industry. We actually represent Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Michael Hyatt, a bunch of big name speakers, and we help them to get on stages. We help them to get their message out to the world by getting them on stages. And our mission is to help our clients impact 1 billion people through 1 million stages by 2027. And we're on track to hit that mission. So it's been fun to actually, have a day job that is kind of beyond the money. And I'm learning about the speaking industry, learning about stages, and growing myself professionally. But why public speaking? Why is it so important? And why are we like for those that are fearful of public speaking, why do you need to get over that fear? Why do you need to improve your public speaking skills? Pete, our founder, says stages are the fastest way to grow your business. Getting on stages speaking is the most surefire marketing strategy to growing your business. We're going to talk about ways that we can do that in a little bit. But I love this two Warren Buffett quotes on this page. But this one I think is the most common one that we've probably heard at some point. You can improve your value by 50% just by learning communication skills, public speaking. And then this other one down here, if you can't communicate, it's like winking to a girl in the dark. That's another Warren Buffett one. I hadn't heard that one before until I was looking up quotes, and I like that one. I think it's true. I don't think I've tried to wink to a girl in the dark, but I don't think it'd be an effective strategy to get what you want there. So what's a stage? Let's hop into, now that we kind of understand public speaking and why it's so important and getting those quotes from Warren, what is an actual stage? So this is sort of my personal definition, and I don't think y'all should be taking notes at any time throughout this presentation, but this would probably be the only kind of time that I would say either take a picture or take notes on this definition, because I think it's really, really important, and post this somewhere. So a stage is anywhere where you can speak to an audience of your ideal customers or clients, display your expertise, and then offer an opportunity for those audience members, your customers and clients, to work with you afterwards. So one more time, a stage is anywhere where you can speak to an audience of your ideal customers or clients, display your expertise, and then offer an opportunity for those audience members to continue working with you afterwards. So I love giving presentations on public speaking, because like what I'm doing now is on public speaking. It's sort of this interesting psychological trip. It's like, for me, we're talking about stages, and right now being on this Lunch and Learn is a stage for me. Like, I'm speaking to an audience of my ideal customers or clients. I'm displaying my expertise in a sense on public speaking and becoming an effective public speaker. And then I'm going to offer a light way where y'all can continue to interact and work with me going forward. So this is a perfect example of a stage for me. And some other stages that we're seeing today, in addition to sort of Lunch and Learns and webinars, podcasts are considered stages. I know CJ and Thrive are getting on more podcasts to get their message out there. Virtual summits are big and popping up a lot today in the era of COVID. Webinars, obviously, sort of the format that we're doing right now. Virtual conferences and events are big these days. Again, people who are pivoting their physical events and conferences into virtual. Facebook and Instagram Live could be considered a stage, right? If your followers are your ideal customers and clients, and you hop on a Facebook or Instagram Live like we are today, boom, that's a stage right there. And you can do that. You can create your own stage with Facebook or Instagram Live. I'm actually going live later with one of my buddies. Like, that's a stage for me. And so sort of creating our own stages by going live in the world of technology. And then finally, kind of a little sadly here, physical events, conferences, and summits, and all that good in-person stuff that I thought was going to be so abundant when I started my speaking career, but obviously it's kind of gone out the window, gone out the door these past couple months. But those are stages as well. So let's talk about this real quick. I want to get some input into the chat here. I want y'all to put into a chat like a couple words describing a failed marketing effort. So you've gone and you've spent time, you spent money, you spent resources. Maybe it was running a Facebook ad, or running a digital marketing campaign, something where you put time and effort into a marketing campaign, into a marketing effort, and it just fell flat on its face. You're like, geez, why did I even do that? Why did I waste time? Why did I waste energy? Go ahead and throw in the chat for those who are in Zoom, like 1 to 2 words if you've ever had a failed marketing effort in your business. So something that, again, just kind of flopped or sort of, didn't pan out like you wanted it to be. So I'm throwing the chat here for us, those that are live on Zoom. I know y'all have had failed marketing efforts at some point in your life. CJ, anything in Thrive? Failed events in the past where not enough people showed up, for sure. Were you expecting a certain number of attendees and you put time and effort and energy into something and then it sort of falls flat? So I'm sure we've all experienced, Hamza. First Facebook ad campaign. I've definitely experienced that, where was not versed on Facebook ad campaigns or running a Facebook ad and ran it and it just fell flat on its face. $13 for an email. Yeah. So I'm sure we've all experienced times in our life where we've run marketing efforts, we've put in time, we've put in energy, we've put in money, not knowing target demographic, and it just fell flat on its face. And we thought, why did I waste my time doing that? Why did I put energy into that? Why did I, spend money, spend effort, spend resources? And it fell on its face, and it didn't pan out how we thought it was going to pan out. So it's always a learning process, but I want to offer y'all a potential solution here, right? And talk about, again, why stages, why public speaking is so important. And this is why. It can be a consistent marketing strategy for you. And this is really like, when I started to understand this, and I understand it really with working for Advance Your Reach, and I kind of want to relay the value to y'all here. Like, public speaking, so when I came into public speaking, becoming a professional speaker, I was like, oh, you can get $1,000 per presentation. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's really cool. You can get $2,000. You can make money off of being a keynote speaker. And I don't want to, say that you can't be. You can 100%. If that's your goal and you want to make money off of speaking, you could 100% do that. And that's actually something I did. I got a check actually this past Saturday for a gig I did like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I got $1,000. I got another gig coming up where I'm going to make $2,000. And it's possible to do. It's possible to make money off of speaking. But it's also very important, as I understood with Advance Your Reach, is I've actually booked my speakers to stages where they're not commanding a fee. And the reason that we're doing that, and why getting on free stages, why getting on podcasts, doing webinars, doing Instagram lives, getting on virtual conferences and events, and speaking for free or maybe a light fee, why it's so important is because you can turn that into business on the back end. So let's go through this real quick. How does this sound for a marketing campaign? You speak for free, you get on a webinar, you get on a virtual event, you get on a conference that's filled with, let's say, 100 of your ideal customers or clients. And that honestly is like pretty common. That's on the low level when you get to like higher events and summits that people are running. 2 hours of preparation time, maybe that's a little low. Let's say it's like 3 to 4 hours of preparation time. So for this, it was like a 30-minute presentation. Probably took me like 3 to 4 hours, right? To prepare, to put all the slides together, took like an hour or two, to then run through the presentation a couple times, took maybe an hour, hour and a half. So let's say you have like 3 to 4 hours of total preparation time to prepare for that speech and that presentation. You go on, you speak for 30 to 60 minutes. And if you're like me and you enjoy public speaking and you kind of have that narcissistic pleasure of getting in front of a crowd, you actually really, truly enjoy that 30 to 60 minutes. It's not like drudgery, like, oh, I have to do this. You really enjoy that 30 to 60 minutes where you're displaying your expertise. And then at the end of the presentation, as you'll see we'll do today, you give like a soft 3 to 5 minute sales pitch. And this can be as simple as what we're gonna do is, hey, join our email list, join our free resource, right? And I wanna show you, I wanna show you at the end what that pitch is gonna look like. Or, hey, here are some ways, really softly selling you. If you wanna continue working with us, hey, book some time on my calendar. We'll see if it makes sense to work. And if you play it all right and you sell correctly and you crush it on stage, let's say that turns into $5,000 to $10,000 plus of business on the back end. And I know that kind of sounds like a little crazy, but let's break that down. Let's say there's 100 people in a virtual summit of my ideal customers or clients. I go on stage and I crush it, talking about public speaking. And then at the end, I say, hey, if you want to work with me, here is our free offer, or here's how you can continue to work with us. And let's say we have a 5% return rate, right? Like 5 people come up to me at the end of that 100. Or 5 people engage with me and say, hey, I want to work with you. I'm interested. How can I invest? You know, this is the right fit. What's my next step? Well, 5 people engage with me and I have a product or my offer is $1,000 to $2,000. That's $5,000 to $10,000 right there. So, I mean, it's not going to happen every time. Sometimes you're going to get on stages and, you know, you might not crush it or something doesn't go right and you don't get any sales. But I've seen my clients and we've seen our clients in the stage agency go on a virtual summit, go on a podcast, have a really good presentation, crush it on stage, which we're going to talk about doing next because that is a necessity. And then have a good post-stage strategy and turn it into thousands of dollars worth of business. And think about that. That's for like 3 to 5 hours of work, right? You're not really spending, you know, you're spending time, you're spending energy, but if you're getting on these stages, you're not spending any money unless you're sponsoring a stage. I mean, 3 to 5 hours of work for, you know, more clients and thousands of dollars of business. This is what public speaking and stages can do for you. But of course, to get this business on the back end, you got to crush a presentation. And to crush a presentation, you have to have a few tools in place first. And that's what I want to sort of shift our presentation now. I'm going to check the chat real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I want to sort of shift our presentation now to get up on, yes, yeah. Yeah, honestly, CJ, I'd love to see a makeshift stage. I'll come out to HQ every day and do a presentation. We're missing stages so much. But let's shift now so we understand why stages in public speaking can be so important. And now let's talk about how you crush it on stage. 5 tools, and there's more tools that you can use, but 5 tools to crush it on stage and thrive from public speaking. So passion, storytelling, audience relationship, immeasurable value, and undeniability. Again, I have a longer presentation where we talk about 8 tools you need to crush it from public speaking. And these are all in there, but you know, there's a bunch of tools you can use, but I think these are good 5 ones to start with when it comes to actually getting on stage and crushing it on stage. Because again, you know, you could be a massive business owner, the smartest person ever, and be a great entrepreneur and business owner. But if you get on stage and you're trying to sell on the back end and you flop on stage, I mean, no one's going to want to work with you. So let's hop in real quick. 5 tools. Let's just go through this. First thing is passion. You know, I'm a big passion guy. Like I said, I've been running MII for about 1 year and 8 months. And I'm just now like actually starting to see an uptick in presentations and starting to get noticed and getting paid for my work. But those first 1 year and 8 months is just me side hustling, like making no money, just getting the building blocks together, putting things in place so I can be successful long-term. I mean, I'm living off of passion, right? And I hope y'all can see, like right now, I'm passionate about being here. I'm passionate about speaking and getting on stage. And I want to do this. Go ahead and throw in the chat for those of you who are here. Go ahead and throw your passion in the chat. Like, what is it that you're passionate about doing? It could be multiple things, but let's stick with professionally. Like for me professionally, love public speaking. More than that though, I love providing value and I love helping others up-level their lives and optimize their lives. That's why I wrote this book, right? Like helping walk people through my personal development, my professional development plan and reach their higher potential. So go ahead, throw your passion in the chat. I know some of you are doing that right now, but breaking comfort zones, shooting commercial work, editing, bringing content to clients, leadership development. Yes, giving other people the stage, help me reach my goal, process of building businesses. So look at this, y'all have all these passions. And I don't want to swear, but y'all have all these passions. And here's the thing, I don't doubt that y'all are passionate about entrepreneurship and growing your businesses, right? I don't doubt that and all those things you put in the chat. But how do you then transfer that passion, all those passions you just put in the chat, and bring it into public speaking and bring it into a format where you're presenting that to others? Because when you do that and when you come on the stage with passion, one, people notice. People can feel that energy. People can, your passion starts to rub off on them. You know, when I got into kind of psychology, I'll tell this kind of quick anecdote. It came from a clinical psychologist and a professor that I had, Dr. Richard Haljan, and he taught this abnormal psychology course. And it was like, I loved the material and I loved what he was teaching. But more importantly, he got me into, you know, psychology and public speaking, because seeing him on stage and how impassionate he was about that material, it was like, man, I just wanted to be around that. I would go to his office hours before class at like 8 a.m., waking up early as a college student my senior years, because like I just wanted to be around him. People want to be around you. This is like, CJ is a perfect example of this. You can just feel his passion through the screen, through being around him. You can feel his energy about what he does. He's not bullshitting. And anyone who's had a job or had to do something that they weren't passionate about knows the value of being passionate. And that's all to say that when you transfer your passion about all the things you just put in the chat and you bring that onto speaking, you bring that to a stage in front of your ideal customers and clients, guarantee you they will want to work with you. They will want to be around with you, and they will say, of course, you need to be providing value and showing them that you actually know what you're talking about. But CJ, again, is a perfect example. It's like, man, I just want to be around him. You know, he knows what he's talking about, and I love his knowledge, but people want to be around and gravitate towards him because he's passionate and energetic about what he does. So can't speak enough to this. I love passion. Always follow your passion, and just make sure, back to our point, when you're coming on the stage, don't be afraid to let that passion come through, and let your passion fuel you past any nerves, any fears that you have of public speaking and getting in front of a crowd. Second here, storytelling. Storytelling is so huge. Excuse me, I know I just told a brief little anecdote of Professor Haljan and a person who had a big influence on my life, but I think this picture is so indicative, and I love this picture. It's just some old timers, some famous individuals and old storytellers here. Got Ben Franklin, a couple other guys. But I love this picture because it's like, these are individuals in the olden days sitting around a story. And why storytelling is so important is because this is what we used to do, right? Like, we're primal creatures. Human beings are primal, innate creatures. We have these biological desires and these biological drives. And when we were, you know, thousands of years ago, before cell phones, before televisions, before computers, for all this technology, this is the shit we used to do, right? And this is, we would sit around a campfire, smoke a cigar, have a couple beers, have some food, have some drinks, and we just tell stories about the day, or stories of our pasts, or, you know, whatever it was, talking a little gossip. Oh, he or she did this, or he or she does that, and he's about that, or she's about that. This is what we used to do. So incite that primal desire in others. Tell stories as much and as frequently as possible. And I think this is a perfect example of do as I say here, not as I do, because I know I haven't told too many stories today. It's definitely a part of my public speaking repertoire that I'm enhancing and working on. But storytelling, like, tell a story of a client success story. John came to me and he was so depressed and he was just having so much trouble. I walked him through my eight-week coaching program. Oh my God, you should have seen him at the end of this. He was a new guy. He was walking around. He was talking to people. He was social. Tell a story of how a business changed your life, how your business changed your life, right? Like, I was in this job, it was shitty. I was, you know, depressed and low energy every day. I started this business and I had this new fire. I was excited to work up. I had a purpose, I had a passion, something to work towards. So storytelling is so huge. And however you guys can implement stories and anecdotes into your into your presentations and into your speaking is so huge. And you know, it's easier to tell stories. It's easier to remember a story as opposed to like a bunch of facts when you're preparing for a presentation. Number 3, audience relationship is massive, right? So bearing in mind that we want our audience members to work with us afterwards, we want to continue a relationship going forward, building a strong, a trusting audience relationship, building, you know, this relationship where the audience says, hey, I like this guy, I like this girl, I like this person on stage, I believe what they're saying, I trust him or her, and I want to continue working with them afterwards. And I think there's a bunch of ways that we can do this. Getting your audience involved, right? So in the world of Zoom, like, hey, go ahead and throw in the chat your passion or stuff like that. When we're in person, obviously just getting people involved, calling people out by name is a great way to get your audience involved. And another big thing with audience relationship, which I think is huge, is being vulnerable on stage, right? I think there's, let me tell you a quick story. Back in my beginning of my speaking career, I loved getting on stage, but one of the things that I definitely messed up with was it was me on stage and then my audience members. It was like me like almost talking down to my audience members. Like, hey, you have to do this. Like, this is how you develop your life. This is how you optimize things. Do this, do X, Y, and Z. And where I started to try and shift things as a speaker is like, it's not you versus them when you're on stage. It's not me directing you on a journey. It's us going on a journey together and me just kind of leading you and directing you towards, hey, I have some knowledge on this subject and let's go on this journey and let me kind of lead you and bring you along this journey as opposed to me dictating on stage. So being vulnerable, you know, talking about the fact that, hey, I'm human too. I've struggled too. There was a time in my life where I was scared or fearful of public speaking, or I didn't really know what I'm doing, but now I'm here and I've developed, and here are some strategies and some tools that have helped me along the way can be really huge to developing a positive audience relationship. Another huge way to get your audience on your side is providing value, providing immeasurable value for your audience members. My coworker that I work with, sort of my boss that I work with at Advance Your Reach, actually just posted a video. She's beast speaker, internationally well-known for speaking, has her own company and just crushes it. And she posted a video on LinkedIn the other day that said, you know, sometimes we lose sight of the fact that what our job is to do as speakers. And our job is really to provide value. Like when we're asked, when CJ comes to me and says, hey, can you present for our mighty network on how to be an effective public speaker for creative businesses, he's basically asking me, hey, can you come provide some value for my mighty network? Like that's what we're asked to do. That's what we're being tasked to do as speakers, bottom line. And if we don't provide a measurable value, we're kind of missing the point. So here, I'm a big fan of like, lay it all, not everything on the line, but hey, here are my 5 tools to successful public speaking. Here's like sort of my secret sauce. Here's some ninja strategies that I found that I want to offer you all, because you're here today and you're listening to me, and I want to benefit you, and I want to provide you with this value. I want to give y'all some of my expertise and knowledge that I have so that you can find value from it and benefit from it. So, you know, it's just such a great way to just don't be afraid to provide value. Don't be afraid to let out some of your hidden secrets and your secret sauce when you're presenting. And then finally, just be undeniable. Be so good that others can't deny you. I love the, you know, Bill Burr sort of mentality. Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians. I don't know, throw in the chat if y'all are Bill Burr fans, if you even know who I'm talking about. He's a Boston born and raised, so he has that kind of Boston touch to him. But Bill Burr talks about, you know, his big advice to young creatives, young comedians is like, when was the last time you got on stage and you were just so good that like the next person couldn't go on stage? You were so good on stage that they had to give you another gig. The guy, the store owner had to ask, like, you got to come back tomorrow night, or you got to do a second show. Like, just be so, like, if you're, the perfect example, I was a Red Sox fan growing up, still a Boston diehard fan, but I used to love watching the baseball games. So I used to watch the Red Sox versus the Yankees. Yankees were our rival. And it was like, I hated Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez growing up. But the reason that I hated them was because they were so good. Like, I could hate them and say I don't like them as baseball players, But if I were to say, yeah, Derek Jeter, I don't even think he's that good of a player. A-Rod's not even that good of a player. It's like, dude, like you're lying. Like he's undeniably great. A-Rod's an undeniably great baseball player. Maybe as a person and some of the shit he did on the side wasn't great, but be so good as a person as well. So people can say that you're an undeniable good person too, but be so good that others can't deny you. I think that's just so huge. If you're going to pursue public speaking, if you're going to pursue entrepreneurship, just be undeniable. I love this. It's one of my favorite tools. And I think we can all attain this over time by just be so good. Be so good that people can't say a bad thing about your work and what you do. I think it's huge. So recapping real quick here before we wrap up, and I offer some free resources. 5 tools you need to crush it on stage. Got to be passionate about what you do. Remember, we're storytellers, not speakers. Building a big audience and a good trusting audience relationship is huge. One of the ways we can do that is through providing immeasurable value, giving our audience members secrets and tools in our secret sauce. And then finally, number 5, just be undeniable. Be undeniable in your quest to becoming a professional or public speaker in your journey. So I do want to leave some time here for Q&A, but before we do that, real quick, my gift to you all, this is something we recently came out with. It's super, super sexy. I love it so much. My designer got it over to me yesterday, and I was just blown away by the work he did. So obviously we have the MII Human Optimization Plan. It's sort of the core of our business, what we're built on, our personal, professional development strategy. And I basically summed up this sort of our plan, our personal development plan, into a PDF. So it basically breaks down the 4 stages of that plan, some tips and some tools to sort of optimize different areas of your life. I want to give that all to you all for free. So what I'm going to do here is go grab the link real quick for the one page. Let me see if I can get that. I should have had this ready, but this is just the site that y'all can go to. If you want to just go in there, drop your email in there. You all can, if I can get the chat up here, you all can get that human optimization plan for free. So I want to, share that with you all and join our email list, sort of join our community. But yeah, we'll start from here. That's sort of our free gift there to you all. It's a human optimization plan breakdown. And then after that, some emails that breaks that down and sort of tells the backstory behind how I came up with all those things and all that good stuff. And then also a 5-part actually effective public speaking video mini series. And then finally, how to continue to work with us, but more importantly, like how to continue, just stay in touch. Coaching, I offer some coaching. If y'all have other speaking opportunities, like y'all have other kind of webinars that you'd like me to come share this message on or talk about the human optimization plan on, definitely let me know. Always open to talking about strategic partnerships. We recently engaged in a strategic partnership with the platform and they're doing all of our media work, but more importantly, just like stay connected. Here's my email, here's my Instagram, my phone, my website. Like I said, I'm new to the Austin area and just trying to sort of build out my social network, being very cautious of the people that I spend my time with and give my energy to as I come down here and don't know too many folks. But listen, you guys are all great. I'm just so pumped that I had the opportunity to connect with you all today, and I want to continue to stay in touch. So I'll throw my email, my phone number, Instagram, all that stuff into the chat if y'all want to, and as well, if y'all want to get involved in course in the softball team, definitely let me know. But yeah, that's it for me for now. I want to open things up to Q&A, but just say thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming out, those joining us on Facebook Live, and I hope I was able to provide some value for y'all today. But yeah, let's open up the floor. Let's do a little Q&A, or I'll let you take things from here, CJ. But appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
No, that was great. Thank you for sharing everything, and looking forward to checking out the PDF. I actually have a question, but I want to let somebody else take the floor. Does anybody else have any questions that they would like to ask Joe? Cool. I guess I'll go into mine then. What is the biggest struggle that you have when trying to book gigs?
Yeah. I'd say it's finding a good fit. So like finding an opportunity, I'd say like sort of that first part of the stage definition is finding somewhere where you can speak to your ideal customers and clients is probably the biggest thing. So if you know, and this is just for me personally, but finding out as well, like as we're getting into marketing too, is like, where are your ideal customers and clients? Where do they hang out? And then what are some speaking engagements that I can get involved in? Like, what podcasts do they listen to? What virtual summits are they going to? Conferences, events, all that stuff. I think if you can nail that down, then it's kind of just reaching out and getting on those stages. So I would say that's the biggest thing for me, at least, is like pinning down that there's a fit of this is your ideal customers and clients. This is what they need people to come speak on, and then sort of marrying that up and showing the decision maker why that's a good fit. But I think that also, yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing. I'd say that's the biggest thing is if you can log that down and like find out where your ideal customers and clients live, and then start getting on those stages and prospecting out to those stages, it's your life's going to become a lot easier. And I think it's all kind of downhill momentum from there.
Awesome. Thank you. And I have another one. Is there any platforms or technology that you're using to get gigs, or what is your process? Are you cold calling, cold emailing? What is that? Run us through what that process looks like. So if somebody out there would want to start doing it themselves, like what is the go-to method so that they don't basically struggle their way? Maybe you've put the struggle in for them and can give us some tips to that.
Yeah. So, and I love that question. So, I mean, there's so many different ways. There's so many different places that you can go. And I think, again, it just takes a little bit of digging and it takes a little bit of work. And it also depends, what are you looking for? Are you looking for podcasts? Are you looking for, unpaid virtual summits and conferences and events? Are you looking for paid virtual conferences and events? So like there's different areas that you can live. There's also different methods to getting gigs. I'm of the nature, I'm a big cold call and cold email guy. Working within the college market, it's pretty easy for me to just go to a university, like go to UT Austin's site and just search UT Austin Greek life, UT Austin student activities, UT Austin student activities board, UT Austin career center, whatever. Because UT Austin that's Greek life departments. Those are my ideal clients and customers. Those are my ideal audience and my target audience. So it's really easy for me to go into that market, find some information, and then reach out through cold emails and cold calling, because that's sort of my approach and how I like to do things. I will say that, I mean, I've known speakers who do very, very little cold calling and cold emailing. And what they do is sort of the method that we talked about here is they'll reach out, let's say, to like a free Rotary Club. They'll go to a Rotary Club, they'll crush it on stage, and then they'll get approached afterwards, or they'll network a little bit there. And 3 to 5 people at that Rotary Club, that turns into 3 to 5 additional engagements. Or so they kind of do more of like speaking begets more speaking. Right. So the more that we speak, the more that we're out there, the more that momentum starts to get going. And it's like either by posting on Instagram, or someone starts to see, oh, he's doing more speaking, or he's getting more engagements. I have something where you can come speak about this. It starts to lead to more and more opportunities. But I guess to answer your question, I'm big of the nature that if you know where you want to speak and you don't want where you want to speak about, just start putting in the work, start emailing, cold emailing, getting on Instagram, sliding into people's DMs, and sort of just start asking them, hey, I saw your conference, looks really, really interesting. I saw your podcast, this looks awesome. I'd love to get on it. I'd love to be a part and provide some value for your community. Here's a video of me speaking. Let me know what you think. And then also as well, like if you're trying to get on podcasts are pretty easy to get on. Like certain lower level podcasts will, you can literally like go onto their websites and book a time to be on the podcast, because they're just looking for people to speak. They're looking for guests and interesting guests that come provide value. So I know that was kind of a roundabout way. I gave you a bunch of stuff there, CJ, but there truly just is so many different ways to find stages and then to get on those stages. But I'm a big believer that if you're willing to make 40 calls and 40 emails in a day, 4 or 5 days a week, I mean, that's how I've started to build my business, and it's grunt work up front. It's a lot of work, but like I said, you meet one person and they say, hey, I want to bring you in, and everything goes well. Like, I want to bring you in every semester after this. So it's like, you just got to get it going, and you got to get those stages. But once you do, it can kind of roll and sort of build itself.
Awesome. I have one last question. I love that response because it kind of gave some answers to different demographics of people. The last one I have is, say I'm a person that, and I'm kind of putting my podcast hat on here to provide even more value to people out there. Say I'm that person that is afraid to public speak, but I know that to grow professionally and to go where I want to go in my life, that I need to put that public speaking hat on. What is the first step? Because I feel like a lot of people, they are scared because they see that person like yourself who is passionate, who is crushing it and doing what he loves, and they don't know how they could ever become that person. So what would your advice be to that person that maybe is unsure, not confident? They know that they need it. They're reading the books, they're doing the thing, but they're like, they still just can't seem to get that first foot started. What would your advice be to that? And then Hamza is going to chime in after that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually going to stop sharing so I can see all your faces. So I'm going to get a little vulnerable here and talk about another area of my life where I'm trying to improve, is like my dating life and meeting girls. And like but more importantly, like literally just cold approaching a girl at the bar or like out at a park that I think's pretty. And to your point, CJ, is like, first of all, don't think at step 9. Your step 9 is like, I want to date this girl. I want to take this girl on a date, or like, I want to have sex, whatever it is. That's step 9, but you can't get to step 9. You can't make this girl your girlfriend or your boyfriend, this boy, your boyfriend, whatever it is, without starting with step 1. And step 1 is going up to her and maybe asking her for the time, or going up to her and maybe introducing yourself, or even just getting in the mindset of, I am a good public speaker. I am good at approaching girls. This girl wants me to approach her. I am good looking. So I think it's start at step 1. Don't look at Tony Robbins and say, I'm going to be Tony Robbins tomorrow, but start with your mindset. And I also think, to get a little deep here, here's the thing with public speaking. They say public speaking is one of the greatest fears in the United States today. It is. But you know what the actual fear is? It's social ostracism. It's, I will get in front of this group and I will screw up and everyone will hate me. And let me tell you something. If we used to get up in front of a group back to our primal thousands of years ago, and we did something wrong and we were ostracized from a tribe, we're dead. You're going to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. I need my environment. I need social. So know that, first of all, that is where the primal fear of public speaking comes from, primally. Secondly, so many of us have unconscious or conscious fears of being creative, of getting up on stage and speaking, because either when we were younger, a teacher, something happened traumatically when we were younger, consciously, unconsciously, where we now fear public speaking because we had a bad experience, we messed up, we peed our pants, whatever. Or even 2, our whole lives we've had people around us who told us not to be fucking creative, who told us that our message doesn't matter, who told us that we don't have an important story, when really we do, and we all have value and we all have expertise to share in the world. So I think, start at step 1. And I almost think that step 1 is just realizing those fears, realizing, okay, this is why I'm fearful. There's the primal reason. 2, maybe some sort of intrinsic discovery of like, why am I personally, what happened to me personally that's a little traumatic around public speaking? Why am I scared to get in front of a crowd and express myself and share my knowledge and expertise and my story with the world? And there could be really, really factors, and that could be really complex. And then also, I think, just start to think, again, switch your mindset, and people want me here. I'm valuable. I'm meant to be here. But also, two last things I'll say. 1, if you're fearful of public speaking, be ridiculously prepared. Like, run through your presentation 100 times where, and I'm going to start doing this actually. I have a gig in 2 weeks. I always give myself a 2-week lead time where pretty much every single night, I'll give myself some breaks just for my sanity, but pretty much every single night in lieu of a 45-minute presentation I have coming up, I'm running through that speech word for word, like, what am I going to say, to the point where I'm going to bed at night and it's tattooed in my brain. And that really, really helps. If you have your speech down, that's going to help a lot with nerves. And then finally, have fun with it. Like, don't take yourself too seriously. You're gonna do fine. If you mess up, no one's gonna know. I probably messed up in this presentation like 5 to 10 times. And like, honestly, I just kind of went off and ad-libbed it and did my thing, and stuff came to my mind. And you know, that comes with doing it more and more. But you're having a conversation. You know, I'm having a conversation. I'm having a conversation with you, CJ, and I'm also having one with Jake and Hamza and Chris and Jevin. Like, that's just what I did today, and everyone on Facebook Live. We just had a conversation. So I heard, don't think of it of one to many, thinking of it of one to one a lot of times. It's me having many one-to-one conversations. And when I was able to make that shift in my approach, it got a lot easier, and things got a lot like, we're just having a conversation. That's it. And there's just a lot of people here, and they're hearing that. And like, it's fun. Like, look at it as fun. Look at it as an opportunity and not something to be feared. So I know that was a lot there, but I think there's so many ways to overcome that. But first, you know, don't look at step 9. You're not going to be Tony Robbins tomorrow. You're probably never going to be Tony Robbins because he's on another level. Start at step 1, find your own unique voice, know those traumas, know why you're fearing this, switch your mindset, get your mindset right, practice, have it down to a T, and then just have fun and have a conversation.
I love that. And especially the last part, where I've never actually thought of it like that, where it's just one-on-one conversation, but just with other people listening in, because everybody's had a one-on-one conversation before. Like, if you were born, you had a one-on-one conversation with your parents at some point, right? So that's an awesome way to look at it. But Hamza has a question, so I'll let him take it from here.
Yo, yes, sir. So from a business standpoint, let's say hypothetically, you've been speaking for a while now. You've been speaking for free, building relationships, engaged your way into multiple communities. How do you make the transition, or how do you shift to, you know, like you said, commanding a fee for it, or start getting paid for it? And what would be the first step to even, like, you know, getting your foot in the door and just making that transition?
Yeah. So, first things first, I think, know your worth for sure. If you've, thanks, Jevin, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. So yeah, Hamza, it sounds like, and I've seen some videos of you speaking, and I know that you've spoken before, and that you probably are worthy and deserving of quoting a fee. So 2 things here. First, I will say, speaking for free, again, is not bad if you have a good post-stage strategy. So again, if I can speak to a group of 100 entrepreneurs and get 25 of them on my email list and give them that free resource and give them my free effective public speaking and human optimization plan videos, like, that's kind of a win for me at this point in my business and my speaking career. So right. Again, speaking for free isn't terrible, but you have to, if you're just speaking for free and you don't have a good way to capture leads or whatever on the back end, then you're just speaking for free. Right. But making that transition, Hamza, like you said, is, I don't know if you have like groups where you consistently speak at, but you need to start having those hard conversations of, especially with like new leads who, let's say someone comes to you, Hamza, and says, hey, Hamza, I have this conference. Saw some of the work that you did. I'd love to have you come speak. Say, hey, that's great. Just so you know, I do charge a fee. I do, usually get paid for my speaking and charge a fee for my speaking. So what does your budget look like? And again, a lot of those organizations or groups might come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have a fee. And at that point, you need to kind of determine, does it make sense for me to speak for free? Will I get the emails? Like, there are non-monetary assets, like we talked about. You can get emails from that list. You can, sell a little bit, whatever it is. But start those conversations with new leads or even old leads where they want you to come speak. It's like, listen, this is a commitment for me. I do need to put a presentation together. Like, I do have expertise. Like, it is worth money and it is worth value. And then also, people always ask this, the follow-up question to that is, how much do I charge? $1,000 per presentation is actually kind of like the bare minimum from what I've heard. Like, if you're trying to build a speaking business, $1,000 is like kind of like in most any markets, college and above, $1,000 is the lowest you should be going. Especially when like there's travel costs involved. And if you're reporting that at revenue, you think you're really only taking home 700 to 500 if you have to travel and then taxes get taken out and all that shit. So, but yeah, just start having those conversations, man. And then we can talk more extensively after about, you know, what that looks like and how to really set that up and how you can show them your value. But dude, you've been speaking, and if you're getting asked to speak, that's a time and energy commitment for you. Yeah, man, you should be charging a fee, for sure. So let's talk, Hamza. Let's connect, because I know you said something about UT as well. So let's definitely hop on the phone soon and we can talk about that. But yeah, just start having those conversations, bro, and start. You charge a fee. You know, you charge a fee now. So yeah.
For sure. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah. And like I said, I can get you plugged in defo. I didn't know that your market is like, you know, colleges and universities. So I got you, brother. We'll talk.
Cool.
Awesome. Any other questions? Jake, you got anything? All right, cool. Joe, super appreciative of you. Welcome to Austin. You fit right in, and just want to thank you again for your time. I know it's valuable. So that was a lot of knowledge dropped and resources. So for anybody else out there who is listening, Joe dropped his email in here, but you'll be able to watch on our YouTube and our Mighty Network to get that. If you could just spell that out for people, what is your website, Joe? So that way anybody that's on
so if
live
y'all go to
can hear.
miiprofessionalspeaking.com and then /HOP. I threw it in the chat one more time, so I don't know if you want to post that somewhere, but MII, so motivate, inspire, inform, miiprofessionalspeaking.com /HOP. We'll take you to the free resource and get you on our email list and all that good stuff. Just get you plugged in with MII. So yeah, would love to have y'all involved there. And like I said, just stay connected. miiprofessionalspeaking@gmail.com, MII Professional Speaking on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you having me, and can't wait to continue to thrive and grow with you all and see what you guys continue to do. And thanks, CJ. I appreciate you, man.
Awesome. Yeah. And as Joe is mentioning that his target market is universities and Greek life. So if there's anybody out there that listens to this or watches this, there are some people that watch afterwards, and actually someone reached out, they took notes, which is really cool for us as we're trying to grow this thing. So if you see this and you know anybody in Greek life or universities, please connect with Joe. I'm in the game of connecting people. I know that that's one of the best values that I can bring to this world. It's one of my superpowers. So please, 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 if you watch this and you know anybody that Joe can connect with, it's going to come back around to you. And then at the end of the day, what we're trying to do here at Thrive is continue to just grow this Mighty Network and get more speakers on here to provide free value each and every week. Because again, I'm obsessed with continuous education and helping each other level up and thrive on life. So this is CJ Finley with Thrive on Life. Thank you to the team behind everything. Thank you to Joe and Chris, who's still on here. I appreciate you. I know you've been slammed lately, but I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks again.